The girls were peeking at Luffy eating the food they had brought and they told Boa Hancock through Den Den Mushi. Suddenly one big man attacked them, causing them to fall to the ground. Everyone attacked him back, but it didn't work on him and they asked who he was. Why did he do that? He said he came here to kidnap Boa Hancock and his name is Burndyworld. Boa Hancock heard him speak through Den Den Mushi and Old Lady Nyan said Burndyworld is wanted by the world government, so the authorities had a summons to Shichibukai, but Hancock didn't care. Luffy was still eating food but was attacked by Burndyworld, so he rushed up and punched Burndyworld in the face. However, he was unharmed and even kicked Luffy flying against the wall. Burndyworld carried Hancock's two sisters away and told her that if you want to save your sister, come here and Burndyworld will let Vivrecard lead you. She went to his base. The incident originated from one day while the naval ship was escorting the ship carrying the Celestial Dragon. Burndyworld sent 3 of his subordinates to attack the world government ship for 1 minute, then he also rushed up with the intention of destroying the remaining ships in the time he specified himself as 50 seconds. Burndyworld enlarged the crescent and destroyed all the ships of the world government. So Burndyworld was urgently summoned by the world government to Shichibukai to destroy him. Luffy asked Rayleigh for permission to save Boa Hancock's 2 younger sisters, but Rayleigh hesitated for a while and finally let him go, and Rayleigh reminded Luffy to be careful because he is also being hunted intensely. Luffy happily joins Hancock and Old Lady Nyan on the way to rescue Hancock's 2 younger sisters. The Navy side and Luffy's side are also discussing Burndyworld. He ate the devil fruit. Moa Moa no Mi can turn things bigger and speed up 100 times, so Burndyworld is considered the destroyer world 30 years ago. However, the world government cooperated with pirates on Burndyworld's ship and defeated his gang internally and froze Burndyworld under the 6th floor of Impel Down for 30 years. After the incident of Marshal D. Teach causing a riot at Impel Down, Burndyworld also managed to escape and return with the aim of revenge by destroying the island of Marine Ford. Akainu, after hearing this story, he was very angry and ordered to prepare the warship immediately. Burndyworld's brother asks him if he is going to Marine Ford to fight them. Burndyworld's brother opposes this stupid plan, but Burndyworld says with his very strong ability he can destroy Marine Ford in 1 cannon shot, but if anyone opposed this plan, even his brother would betray him and die. Soon afterwards Burndyworld received notice of Boa Hancock's ship coming. And on Boa Hancock's side suddenly an island rose from under the water and appeared in front of her ship, much to everyone's surprise. Burndyworld came out and said Boa Hancock wanted to save his 2 younger sisters, then went to his island. Then Burndyworld fired cannons at Hancock's ship and Luffy jumped up to protect his wife's boat, but he was thrown bullets by Burndyworld with his devil fruit power, causing Luffy to fall into the sea. Hancock was about to jump down to save Luffy when Old Lady Nyan stopped her and said she couldn't swim and ordered the snake to rush down to save Luffy. Hancock got mad and attacked and petrified the Burndyworld's underlings. Then both of them entered the island when one fishman splashed water at them, causing both of them to almost fall into the sea. Hancock uses his devil fruit powers to petrify the fishman, but he is unharmed because he is blind. Luffy jumps up and punches the fishman in the face, but he also jumps into the sea to gain his stealth powers and shoots water bullets at Luffy and Hancock. And then Luffy and Hancock are punched by the fishman and flew to another island. Luffy switched gear 3 to blow his fist wide and punched the merman flying into Burndyworld's base, which greatly disappointed Burndyworld with his subordinates, and he personally went downstairs to wait for Luffy to punch him. Buggy sees the whole thing and intends for Luffy to punch with World, and then sees the opportunity to receive the bounty when World is knocked out. After being punched by Luffy on the wall, this blind fishman was also recruited by Perona as her assistant, but he was eliminated after the first round of interviews. Perona asked Luffy where to go, but Luffy didn't have time to answer when he and Hancock fell into the hole. Hancock looked worried that the girl had known Luffy earlier, so she asked Luffy who the pink-haired girl was. However, Luffy thought about it and didn't remember, and the two continued to run for a way out. Luffy was stopped by one block of rock and Burndyworld did it. Luffy told Hancock to run first and he would stay and deal with him. Burndyworld's brother called to warn Burndyworld that Luffy was Garp's nephew and he caused a ruckus during the summit battle at Marine Ford. Burndyworld touches on Luffy's pain that Luffy has saved his brother. This distracts Luffy and he is hit by a blow from Burndyworld. Luffy counterattacks with a series of punches, but he gets kicked through the wall. Burndyworld threw Luffy some weapons and told Luffy he could choose a weapon to defeat him, but Luffy said he didn't need to and punched Burndyworld's face with his haki. He attacked Luffy repeatedly and then threw darts that locked Luffy's movements, and finally Burndyworld delivered a fatal blow at Luffy, causing him to lose consciousness. Buggy's gang has seen it all and thinks that this plan to wait for this opportunity is unlikely to be implemented. Buggy orders his gang to save Luffy because Luffy is the hope for Buggy to win the bounty by defeating Burndyworld. Burndyworld remembers the old days when he encountered Garp and Sengoku army he was very confident against, but Burndyworld couldn't believe that his comrades had pointed guns at him. Some members of the Burndyworld gang were elite commandos planted by the government to assassinate Burndyworld.
Wait, if you are a big fan of One Piece, then you should not miss these super cool items: One Piece outfits, One Piece sneakers, One Piece accessories, and countless other extremely stylish One Piece items are waiting for you to own. Explore the world of One Piece right in the video description. And don't forget to enter the coupon code PAINTANIME to get a huge discount. Have fun following the video.
Back to the present, Hancock ran to Knighton's place and she was a potion-making witch. Knighton said Boa Hancock could not save his sister, nor could he beat her because she understood and overcame Hancock's powers. Hancock uses his devil fruit powers to petrify Knighton, but she managed to take one bitter potion to disperse lust so she wasn't petrified. Then Knighton sucked on one potion and spat on Hancock, causing her clothes to wear away to reveal a seductive first round. Then Knighton also took one drug that made her young and energetic like a teenager. However, Knighton's attractiveness could not compare to Boa Hancock's attractiveness, and then her evil nature resurfaced when she saw Hancock's charm. Knighton again ran to drink the bitter potion to curb his lust, and Hancock again used the devil fruit power moves to attack Knighton, but she blocked the attacks with her medicinal herbs. Then Knighton jumped up and punched and kicked at Hancock but was knocked to the ground by her snake. Hancock says her attractiveness can defeat anyone with a lewd nature, regardless of gender. Knighton ran over to get all sorts of pills stuffed into her mouth to restrain the evil demon in her body. But in the end she couldn't contain it from Hancock's provocations, and Knighton had to vomit all the pills and was petrified by the Marrow power. Luffy remembers his teammates and he needs to be stronger to protect those loved ones. So Luffy wakes up and goes to find Burndyworld to fight him one more battle. However, Luffy runs forever and can't find the exit, and that's the trap set up by Gairam. Gairam confronted Luffy and hit Luffy, causing him to fall and roll on the ground. Then Gairam introduced him as the one who ate the devil fruit cube no mi and became a cubic person. Then Gairam controlled the cubes, forcing Luffy against the wall, and he was squashed like paper. At that time Buggy's gang also confronts Gairam and Luffy, but he asks why Luffy hasn't gone to punch Burndyworld yet. Luffy says he is being stopped by Gairam, and Buggy tells Luffy to go defeat Burndyworld and this guy just leave it to him to handle. Buggy's subordinates are very emotional about their captain's greatness when at that moment Gairam throws a shockwave at the Buggy gang, but this attack is blocked by Mr. 3 and he tells Buggy's ice ran away, but in the end Mr. 3 could not stop Gairam. Gairam caught up with Buggy's group and he turned Buggy into a cube. It seemed that he was about to break his face, and then Buggy managed to separate his body in time, but Buggy was held by Gairam one part of his body. This makes Buggy a dwarf, and Buggy has to use his last move, which is a Buggy Bomb. This last move of Buggy does not do damage to Gairam, but at that moment Hancock passes by and kicks Gairam, causing Gairam to collapse on the spot. Buggy and Mr. 3 are bewildered and show Hancock the way to Luffy. The smoke from the Buggy Bomb misled everyone into thinking that Buggy had taken down Gairam, and they cheered. Burndyworld goes up and asks how things are going, but his brother says everyone has been defeated. Burndyworld thinks they are useless, but his brother says they fought hard for Burndyworld. Burndyworld's brother tells him to stop because their brother's dreams are not like this. Two people reminisced about the old days when their brothers wanted to go out to sea to explore the world and find freedom. But the brother was sick since childhood, but Burndyworld still wanted to go to sea and would protect his brother. They went through many dangerous hardships together, and their dream was to build a big and monumental ship with his teammates traveling the world. However, something bad happened because Burndyworld had been betrayed by his teammates. Since then he had completely changed. And now Burndyworld will go downstairs to welcome Luffy and the Pirate Queen to continue the plan. Now Luffy has reached the place where Hancock's two sisters are locked up, and he says he will save them now. However, Burndyworld comes down and touches Luffy's pain that if you can't save your brother, who else can you save? Luffy said this time is different from before, and now you jump down here and fight again. Burndyworld jumped down and threw stones at Luffy and grabbed his leg and hit the ground. Luffy also grabbed Burndyworld's leg, but he used his ability to increase his speed by 30 times so Luffy's attacks could not hit him. Burndyworld threw Luffy like a child, but Luffy said he was okay because he was a rubber man, and then Luffy used Gear 3 to punch Burndyworld, but he was able to block it. Luffy punched repeatedly with Haki but was pinned one shot by Burndyworld to the wall of spikes, but thankfully Luffy was not hit by spikes in danger. At this moment the Navy's fleet was arriving and Akainu ordered the sinking of Burndyworld's ship despite Buggy's gang calling for help. This naval attack destroyed part of Burndyworld's ship, and he ordered his brother to prepare a huge cannon to shoot down the naval fleet. His brother said that if he did that, the ship would also come under fire from that gun and all of Burndyworld's comrades would die. World said he didn't trust his comrades and his brother in the first place, and he saw it all as a tool for him to take advantage of, and now even his brother didn't listen to his orders. He would kill his brother, but Luffy rushed out in time to stop World's attack on his brother. Luffy was indignant that World only saw his teammates and relatives as tools to take advantage of, and he rushed up and brutally punched World in the face. At this point Boa Hancock arrives and Luffy tells her to save her sister and leave here first, he will come later. Luffy turns on the armed hockey kicks World's stomach and says the kind that treats teammates as tools is just the kind of asshole. However, World touches Luffy's pain is the kind that can't save his brother, punching Luffy's lungs. Luffy said he couldn't save his brother, but at least he still had teammates waiting for him. Then Luffy punched World to the ground. The two punched each other repeatedly and finally Luffy delivered the last punch that punched World's lungs. The Navy violently attacked World's ship, so everyone evacuated, and so did Luffy. World woke up and told his brother he would fire the last shot to destroy the Navy. World said his hatred for all remained the same. Then he activated the giant cannon and controlled it. At the same time, World used his Devil Fruit ability to fire one super giant bullet that could engulf the entire naval fleet. However, Mihawk rushed in time to slash the super giant cannon in half. World's last hope was extinguished and he was about to face Akainu. And Luffy also returned to his dear wife and continued his training with Rayleigh to reunite with his teammates soon.
Nami's group had arrived at the money storehouse. Karina quickly opened the door of the money storehouse, but Tesoro suddenly signaled the start of the show. It turned out that Nami's group had been tricked into coming here. Tesoro is about to execute Zoro. Sanji angrily flies to Tesoro, but he is stopped by Tesoro's golden ropes. At the beginning of the film, a man with a lot of money, he has the ability to manipulate gold. Tesoro activates the room with millions of tons of gold inside. A golden tower emerges from below. This is Las Vegas, where talents and tycoons in the gambling industry converge. On the big stage are dancers and singers dancing and singing. In the middle is the tycoon Tesoro dancing as if preparing to set a trap to welcome the pirates greedy for money and treasure. This is the world's largest entertainment city on the giant ship, Grand Tesoro. As soon as Sunny's boat entered, in front of them appeared a rain of glittering golden dust falling everywhere. This rain of golden dust was so thick that Nami's group seemed to be made of gold, and the sea water was also dyed yellow. The Sunny boat immediately rushed straight into the center, where dozens of other boats were anchored, above which were beautiful girls dancing to greet guests, and the head of the place was Tesoro. Suddenly, a boat is approaching and threatens Luffy's group to hand over their wealth and valuables. Then they fire cannons at Luffy's boat, at which time Tesoro also realizes that Luffy's pirate boat is being bombarded below, and he immediately turns the sea into a stage. Unknown pirates advance to Luffy's boat and attack. A pirate swings his sword and slashes at Zoro, but he blocks the attack with a sword. Those who disturb his sleep will die. Then Zoro rushes in to finish off this pirate easily. Another group is forcing Nami to hand over the property to them, but instead of handing over the property, Nami gives them powerful lightning strikes. The rest are knocked down by Robin with the power of the Devil Fruit. Another person is attacking Sanji. Sanji dodges easily and knocks him down with just one kick. Brook uses the power of hell to send the pirates back to their ancestors. In the end, Frankie destroyed their ship with a single laser shot, and the unknown pirates were almost completely wiped out. At this time, the captain of the unknown pirates realized that they had collided with the wrong opponent, but it was too late. Luffy came to find him. The old man immediately pulled out a 6-barreled gun and fired frantically at Luffy. With his rubber body, Luffy immediately returned the bullets to the old man. Then Luffy immediately threw a powerful punch that defeated the captain of the unknown pirates, as a result of which the unknown pirates officially disbanded. At this time, Tesoro created golden pillars and rounded up the other unknown pirates. Their bodies instantly turned into pure gold, and the towers immediately spewed out golden water columns to welcome everyone to the world's largest entertainment city, Grand Tesoro. As soon as they stopped at the harbor, Luffy's group was amazed by the luxury and grandeur of this casino. A red-haired girl immediately walks over to greet the pirates. Luffy. Sanji sees the beautiful girl and immediately runs to greet her. She introduces herself as Baccarat, who specializes in hosting VIP guests. All the famous pirates wanted by the government are VIP guests in this place. Immediately a yellow car with a turtle engine ran over. Luffy's group immediately ran excitedly to look at the car with 8 healthy turtles as the engine. They got into this luxury car. Then she started the car and went to the next location. Inside is an extremely luxurious city, but this is not the most magnificent area because this ship is up to 10 kilometers long. Deep inside is the city center and also the place where the most convenient services are located, including magnificent casinos. Along with that, this ship is pulled by two giant turtles that allow them to go wherever they want, so the world government has recognized Gran Tesoro as a special entertainment city. In front of them is the real city center with buildings made of solid gold. Usopp and Nami immediately plan to steal some gold to get rich. The red-haired girl immediately warns that there are snails watching everywhere in the city. As a rule, thieves and vandals are thrown in jail. Soon Luffy's gang is dressed elegantly and prepares to go out in a lavish manner. In front of them was a world's top 8-star VIP casino hotel, and suddenly a group of people from somewhere came running and invited Luffy's group to buy flowers for 5,000 belly for one flower. They sold flowers to pay for their freedom. Luffy still didn't understand what they were talking about, but at this time Baccarat came and threatened the group to go elsewhere. Somewhere the boss Tesoro is drinking with Karina. A strange mutant appears from the floor and informs them about the Straw Hat Pirates, as the Straw Hat Pirates defeated Doflamingo, causing him a lot of damage, so this time Tesoro plans to take revenge for this. A drunk man walks over and mocks Luffy as an immature man with dreams of becoming the Pirate King. Tesoro spills the wine glass on the floor and asks him what makes him laugh in front of Tesoro. The other man immediately backs away in fear. Tesoro takes off the ring and throws it at the man, causing him to be tied up. Tesoro then immediately finishes him off and orders to prepare a plan to deal with the Straw Hat Pirates. At this time, the Straw Hat Pirates were entering this magnificent casino. There were a lot of games for everyone to choose from. They lent 20 million belly to Luffy's group. Luffy quickly took some coins and ran first. Usopp and Chopper immediately ran after Luffy. Luffy, Usopp and Chopper enter the race with a participation fee of up to 1 million belly. The teams are ready for the match to start. The number 5 car has risen to the top and far outdone the rest of the cars. The number 3 car immediately shoots down the number 5 car and rises to the top of the track. Car number 3 continuously fired cannons, causing the other cars to have a lot of difficulties. There was a sharp bend ahead, but this crazy guy wanted to run straight. As a result, the whole car fell into the sea. Now there are only 4 cars left. Car number 6 is the Straw Hat group that overtakes other cars to win second place on the track. The pink car sprayed lubricant on the track, causing Luffy's car to lose control. Usopp restarted the car to chase. The old man was smiling with satisfaction but was immediately thrown into the abyss by another car, behind which Luffy's car was approaching. A buffalo threw dry straw at Luffy's group to obstruct their vision, causing the car to crash down the cliff. Fortunately, Luffy pulled the car back to the track with his hand and caught up with the 2 cars. In the last minute Luffy's group accelerated and won excellently before the other 2 cars. This is followed by other games, where members of the Straw Hat Pirates win game after game. The number of chips earned is up to 30 million belly. Baccarat comes and invites them to the VIP room to play the special game, and if they win they will become billionaires. Nami immediately agrees to play the game, and soon the group is taken to meet the manager named Tanaka, who has the ability to walk through any object. Shortly afterwards Luffy's group is taken to the VIP room. The Navy is also present here, but since Gran Tesoro is recognized by the world government as a neutral zone, the Navy is not allowed to fight pirates on this ship. The first game is dice. An old man throws 2 giant dice into the air and puts them into a large bell. Then he holds an axe and spins in the air, then hits his head and the bell causes it to burst, to the surprise of Luffy's group. The redhead said that she was going to lend Luffy's team 300 million belly. Immediately Luffy bet all that money on the game himself, and as a result, he won spectacularly. Suddenly, Tesoro comes here to meet Luffy's group. He introduces himself as the owner of this ship and his name is Tesoro. Luffy also introduces himself as the future Pirate King. Tesoro shows interest and invites Luffy to play a game with him. If Luffy wins, he'll get 10 times the stake, but if Luffy loses, they won't have to pay 10 times the stake, which sounds like a rule in Luffy's team's favor. Luffy agrees to that rule of the game and Luffy bets all the chips his team has just earned. Baccarat smiles and immediately takes off the glove and touches Luffy's body. The game starts and as a result Luffy loses. Tesoro clapped her hands and laughed lightly because this was a performance of Baccarat. She ate the Riki devil fruit that allowed the user to change her luck. Anyone who was touched by Baccarat would be robbed of all luck by her. She took all of Luffy's luck, causing Luffy to suddenly have a stomach ache and stepping on the banana peel causing him fell against the wall. Tesoro's subordinates come to surround Luffy's group. They assume that the fools who are cheated at this casino will forever be losers. Tesoro demands the money that Luffy's group lost is 320 million belly, however they don't have enough money to pay Tesoro, so Tesoro asks them to work for him to pay off the debt. If the Straw Hat Pirates do not agree, Tesoro will forcibly recover their assets. The Straw Hat Pirates are about to fight, then Baccarat pretends to fall to the ground causing Sanji to run over for her to touch his body. The cigarette falls on Sanji's shirt, his shirt burns, then he steps on the banana peel and he is knocked down easily. Tanaka walks through the floor and suddenly attacks them so they can't react. Frankie punches the man in the face with his iron fist but it doesn't work for him. As a result, Zoro approaches and confronts Tesoro. He rushes to attack Tesoro but Tesoro turns Zoro's legs into gold. Zoro jumped up and attacked Tesoro but he manipulated the gold to block Zoro's attack. Zoro's body is now about to completely turn into gold. Tesoro's power is to control gold. He has eaten the devil fruit gold and he can control the gold at will. When they arrived in this city, they were bathed in a rain of gold dust, at which point all the members of the Luffy pirates were controlled by Tesoro's gold. Tesoro stepped on Zoro's body and went on to claim the 320 million that Luffy's group owed him. From the beginning they were deceived by Tesoro. Nami was agitated but she was restrained by Kurina. Nami immediately recognized her, then Nami agreed to pay the money to Tesoro but her group needed time to prepare the money. Tesoro agreed to it on the condition that Nami's group pay the full amount by midnight tomorrow night, otherwise their comrades will be publicly executed. Later, Luffy's group went out safely, but Zoro was detained. In order to rescue Zoro, they first need to go eat first. Suddenly a purple-haired girl accidentally bumps into Nami, but she is immediately held back by Nami. They recognize each other because they used to steal treasure in the South China Sea together. Soon after, they went to the restaurant for dinner. Kurina said that since she was Tesoro's subordinate so she had no other choice. Nami thought that Kurina was aiming for Tesoro's treasury because 20% of the world's money was in this city. For a thief to steal that money, it was a great honor. Kurina immediately gave the key to open Tesoro's vault. She was aiming for Tesoro's 500 billion belly. Kurina says that Tesoro donated a portion of this huge amount of money to the Heavenly Dragon so that he could control the Heavenly Dragons at will, so the world government and navy ignored him, an underground empire controlled by Tesoro's hands with money in this world. Kurina invites Luffy's group to join the plan to steal this money. Nami immediately agrees because this is the only way to save Zoro. The goal is 500 billion belly. Suddenly a little girl accidentally spills a glass of water on Tesoro's subordinates. He asks her for 20,000 belly as compensation. Kurina said that these people were sold into slavery for Tesoro for life. Tesoro's subordinates were about to beat her but luckily the restaurant owner intervened to stop him. The restaurant owner knelt down and begged for forgiveness for her and he was severely humiliated but he did not have any resistance. After insulting him, they left in contentment. At this time, Spandam went to see Tesoro to ensure the security of the Heavenly Dragon man. Tesoro ordered a suitcase of money to be given to him. Tanaka whispered to Spandam that Luffy's group was on this ship, and the Revolutionary Army was also eavesdropping on Tesoro's exchange with his subordinates. At the naval headquarters, CP0 Luki arrogantly asked Admiral Akainu to send 10 naval ships to Tesoro's place. The next morning, the group prepared a plan to steal Tesoro's money. Shortly afterwards, Nami went to Kurina to repeat the old story. It turns out that they have been collaborating to steal for a long time in the past, but during a treasure theft mission, they are unfortunately caught again. Kurina begs to be released and she will give them all the money she has, then Kurina runs away alone. Finally Nami has to lead them to the burial place of her private treasure in exchange for her freedom. However, Kurina steals it all and leaves a piece of paper. Kurina thought she was not wrong to do it. Now that Tesoro's plan to steal the huge treasury has begun, they will enter this special tower. where 500 billion belly is stored. They must not break the golden walls because Tesoro created those golden walls, so he can link all the gold in the city. They will break into the tower with a spiral staircase, but this place has a lot of snails watching. However, it also has a hole, so Group A will climb to the top floor to go to the control center room. The task of Group A is to disconnect the snail master from the other snails watching. Group B will take the elevator to the tower manager's room. They go through the Tanaka manager, then pass through the security to go up the spiral staircase. Finally, they will use this key to open the treasury to steal 500 billion belly. After stealing the money, they will transport it by hotel suitcase from the main door to the outside. As planned, Luffy and Franky are climbing to the top floor of the tower, as the golden tower is quite slippery, so they use Franky's new equipment to climb more easily. In Group B, Karina tricked the security team with 2 of her plump grapefruits to let the other members hide in the big bell that was being transported, so they were able to enter the VIP room. At this time, Group A due to a technical error, so they fell. Luckily, Franky used a rocket with his butt to fly back up the tower and they successfully broke in. Then they went to the control room. In Group B, Robin deals with the guards in silence, after which they have to overcome these red-eyed owls. If a living object is hit by them with a laser, they will sing like a band. Chopper can hear the owls sound about where they are about to shine the laser, so they can pass easily, but Brook runs slowly because his shirt is too tangled, so he is lasered into the body by the owls. However, nothing happens, that is because Brook is not a living being. They had arrived at the spiral staircase. Group A was now preparing to take that action to disconnect the master snail from the snails that were watching at the spiral staircase. Luffy was the one who would do it. However, Luffy acted in a brainless way, so he was discovered by the guards. The alarm goes off and all of Luffy's images are broadcast live in the city. The guards immediately rush in to attack Group A. Franky fires cannons and they quickly run away, but Franky is attacked by a golden rope. It is Tesoro and Tanaka. Tesoro live streams the scene of Zoro being imprisoned in gold. Luffy immediately angrily rushes to attack Tesoro, but he is stopped by the golden shield. Tesoro uses his golden fist and knocks Luffy back, then he uses gold to control Luffy's hands. Tesoro thinks money is everything, but Luffy replies that money cannot buy human hearts. Luffy's words reminded Tesoro of his dark past, and he angrily threw Luffy away. Tanaka throws them into a bottomless hell. Thanks to the snail Franky dropped, Group B sees the whole thing and they can only retreat. But in front of them are the guards blocking their way. Sanji jumps up and easily knocks out all the guards. Then they ran to a large corridor. This was the residence of the Heavenly Dragon Man. In front of them were the Heavenly Dragon humans who were approaching. Nami immediately came up with a plan. At this time, Luffy and Franky had fallen into a gold prison. Luffy's hands were tied with gold, so he had a hard time moving. There were skulls everywhere. Suddenly a group of people came to ask for water. But when he heard Luffy say there was no food and water, they all knelt on the ground in frustration. An old man advised them not to use gold and silver because it was of no value in this place. Franky realized that the old man was Rai Max. He was a gambling king who had never lost to anyone, but after joining the Revolutionary Army, he gave up the gambling path. Rai Max immediately boasted that he was a famous gambler who had never lost to anyone but sometimes lost a few games. Then they tried to find a way out of here, but all this place was Tesoro's gold, so if they destroyed it, he will find and kill them. One person said that if they left the gold here soaked in seawater, Tesoro would not be able to control the gold, and if they bathed in seawater it would mean that Tesoro couldn't control them with gold. Luffy immediately wanted to find the seawater, but Tesoro had calculated in advance, so it was difficult for them to find the seawater. The other old man says that they can use the pump room because there is a line under the ship. They can use it to suck up seawater to wash away the gold dust from their bodies, but inside the pipe there are fierce golden bats. They immediately advise Luffy to give up. However, the 2 words, give up, never appeared in Luffy's mind. Luffy immediately jumped down the pipe and punched a bat into the air. Franky also jumped down the pipe to support Luffy. At this point Tesoro goes to Zoro to shake his trust in his teammates, but Zoro understands them better than anyone else, so he won't fall for Tesoro's plot. Nami's group then disguises themselves as Heavenly Dragon humans to go to Tesoro's vault, which causes the guards to be tricked. Then they rush to the vault. Luffy and the others are fighting the fierce bats. Then they come to a large pipe. Below is a ventilation duct with a rotor rotating at high speed. This propeller is made of sea stone, so it will be difficult to get through. Tesoro was careful with everything. Then Luffy suddenly jumped down, but he was swept away by the propeller and threw him against the wall. Luffy tried again and again but still failed, so Frankie hurriedly pulled him up. Suddenly Max stepped forward and bet his life one last time. He imagined it was a gambling game. Then he plunged down and was bruised in the face by the propeller. He remembered Luffy's words that he would never give up. Max tries to grab the propeller to stop the propeller. The others saw this and rushed down together to stop the propeller because they all wanted to be free. The propeller stopped shortly afterwards, and they all went down to the pump room together. At this time, Nami's group had arrived at the money storehouse. Kurina quickly opened the door of the money storehouse, but Tesoro suddenly signaled the start of the show. It turned out that Nami's group had been tricked into coming here. Behind was Zoro. It turned out that the huge amount of money was on the Heavenly Dragon Man's boat. They had been tricked by Kurina. Nami was helplessly kneeling on the ground. Tesoro laughed heartily because they had all been tricked. Luffy smashed the pump with his head. Seawater splashed out, causing him to lose his strength, but his arm was restored. The gold on the others' bodies also disappeared, but it was all part of Tesoro's plan. He ordered all the doors to be closed, causing the seawater to flood the pump room and engulf it all. Tesoro broadcasts live as a show for everyone to see. At this time Luffy is trying to break the door, but it is useless and everyone is suffocated in the seawater. Sanji angrily flies to Tesoro, but he is stopped by Tesoro's golden ropes. He is finally arrested along with everyone. Tesoro is about to execute Zoro, and in this critical moment suddenly the ship loses power. Nami laughed happily. A huge stream of seawater was shot from the tower and the seawater destroyed the entire tower. The other towers also shot seawater that covered the entire city, which freed Zoro and Nami's team. Everyone was happy that they were freed. Frankie arrived just in time. They know in advance that Tesoro's plan is that during the show he will activate the towers to shoot a rain of golden dust. Kurina has revealed everything. Everything Tesoro sees is a drama they put up. Once they have seawater in their hands, money or gold is no longer important. There is seawater. They won't have to worry about Tesoro turning them into gold. They have connected the golden tube to the seawater. Of course Luffy doesn't know about this plan. They are pirates and have powers, so they will follow their own rules. Luffy appears from above and falls to the stage without knowing what plans are going on. Tesoro angrily recalls his past of his unfortunate and poor childhood. Only one girl gives him more motivation to live. In order to save her, he worked hard to get her ransom, but the Heavenly Dragon Man took her away and stamped him as a slave, and then he ate the devil fruit and teamed up with Doflamingo. At this time, Tesoro gets angry and punches the ground, causing the entire tower to shatter. Tons of gold covering and engulfing many people. Frankie with Robin and Sanji quickly rescue everyone safely. At this time, Tesoro turned into a giant golden armor. Luffy turned into a Gear 2 state and rushed to throw a giant fist at Tesoro. However, Tesoro also counterattacks Luffy, causing him to be blown away. The other subordinates rush to attack Luffy's group. Tanaka appears and says that all of their armor is made of Tesoro's gold and it can power them up. Now Luffy's group is surrounded by Tesoro's subordinates. The fight began. At this time Luffy was being tied by Spandam with a chain of sea stones. He was about to finish off Luffy, but luckily a boy ran to stop him in time. From a distance, a group of Tesoro people were running to Luffy, but Max and the others ran to fight to support Luffy. Luffy successfully untied and knocked down Spandam with a punch to the face. Zoro was fighting this old man on this side. Zoro kept using his skills to blow him away, but he was almost unharmed and flew to Zoro. Zoro's swords were locked by Tesoro's gold and then Zoro was knocked away. Tanaka uses his piercing powers to disappear and appear, then suddenly attack them. Sanji angrily kicks him but to no avail and he appears behind Robin. The red-haired girl was absorbing the luck of her subordinates. Usopp took the opportunity to attack her, but a soldier accidentally blocked Usopp's attack for her. Her devil fruit power made her always lucky. She immediately took a gold coin and threw it at Usopp's group. This has caused Usopp's team to constantly receive bad luck. Baccarat continued to toss coins, causing Usopp's group to be unlucky again and again, and Usopp helplessly launched a special move, which was to run away. Luffy rushed to attack Tesoro, but he continued to be pinned to the ground by Tesoro. Then Luffy reappeared with two giant fists and punched Tesoro in the face. Luffy continued to run after Tesoro's arm and prepared to attack him, but at this time the Navy fleet fired cannons at Tesoro. The naval commander had warned the people around to stop shooting. The Heavenly Dragon Man immediately asked Luffy about this, but he immediately hung up the phone and continued to order to concentrate fire on Tesoro. They could only listen to Luffy and continue to fire cannons at Tesoro. Suddenly the Navy's attacks are stopped by Sabo with a huge flame. He appears to stop the Navy. Tesoro immediately shoots a laser to destroy the naval ship. At this time, Luffy and Sabo rush to attack each other. Luffy continued to throw a fire punch to hit him. Tesoro responded to Luffy with a powerful punch that blew everything away. Kurina was very scared at this time. Tesoro was about to kill her, but she was immediately rescued by Nami. It turned out that day, Kurina tried to save Nami, so she deliberately took Nami's treasure to distract the treasure pirates till Nami was able to escape safely. Suddenly Nami was grabbed by Tesoro again. Luffy angrily asked Tesoro to let her go. This reminds Tesoro of his past, so he immediately throws Nami to the ground. Luckily Luffy saves Nami and Kurina at the same time, then he throws them towards Robin. Robin creates a net to save them. Tesoro's arm was suddenly destroyed. Luffy switched to Gear 4 and shattered Tesoro's arm, then he flew up and punched Tesoro and fell to the ground. Tanaka was now caught by Robin, because his power can only penetrate inorganic things. Sanji gets angry and launches a series of kicks to take him down. Baccarat continued to throw out the coin. Usopp immediately shot a bag at the other coin, then he continued to attack her. Baccarat still confidently caught Usopp's attack, and as a result she was blown up to the point of smoking. It turned out that the other bag was a slot machine. It took all her luck. At this time, Zoro was dodging this old man's blow, then he immediately used a water cannon to push the old man into the sky, and finally Zoro used his skill to take down the old man with just one slash. The subordinates saw this and were afraid and quickly ran away. Tesoro uses his power to divide everyone. He wants to drown everyone with gold. Luffy angrily rushes to attack him. Their powerful attack creates a brilliant sight. Luffy tries to repel Tesoro's attack, and finally, after a moment of concentrating his strength, he destroyed the entire Golden Tower and defeated Tesoro, causing Tesoro to fall into the Navy ship. Tesoro was captured, so Luffy and Sabo's battle was stopped. There was now just over a minute left before the entire ship was engulfed. Everyone was successfully evacuated. The countdown time was over and it was just a brilliant fireworks display. It turns out that Kurina tricked people into evacuating to steal the ship along with Tesoro's huge amount of money. The movie ends here. Don't forget to give this video one like and subscribe if you feel it's very good. Thank you and see you soon.